You know, I stayed gone for a while for different reasons. It was obvious it wasn't for me to be there, and you were where. There wasn't a whole lot going on that really sparked any real concern as far as times that we live in. And I felt the necessity now to come and share that first video I put out when I came back. And I told you in that video, I said, you know, I'm not here to make friends this time. See, the first time around, I came in to make you laugh. And then I was gone. I come back when my grandmother passed away. If you recall, I don't know, somebody still had that video out there. I looked like some sort of jungle man. Let the beard grow. And I come back and started doing some things and really hitting some notes. And all those videos are on my page. So if you want to go see anything that really needs to be, because things that are happening now I told you about a long time ago in one form or another. And if you want to laugh, there's some things there to make you chuckle. Sure. But the fact of reality is we're living in a time now to where I feel a necessity upon my heart to come back and stick my neck or face out here one more time. One more time. And to say, hey, listen, there's some things that you probably need to know about. People don't want to hear nothing that's coming because it can't be substantiated. We've heard that all our life. This, blah, blah, blah. Any word, any excuse, any reason, whatever. Right? Really. And so people have their reasons to think the way they do about what they think and what they do. But it's interesting. A lot of the Christians I noticed come out and say things like this. God is not a God of darkness or gloominess, or gloom and doom is one of the things that they say in a lot of those comments. God is a God of hope, and things are all okay, and that God is not a dark God or a God that's angry and mean. He's a God of love. And you know, it says love. God is love. That's scriptural, isn't it? It is. God is love. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But I wanted to share something with you, if I can here, just for a second, man. If you just hang with me. I wanted you to see something. In Zephaniah, chapter 1 and 15. Just bear with me a minute. You don't even have to believe it. And I got books everywhere, man. So I might as well use some of them, right? Huh? Listen to me. Hang with me. Listen to me. If you watch a newsman on the television and he says it's going to rain, you're okay. But if he says a storm is coming, that you better take shelter because it could blow your house away, you'd be thankful. You wouldn't call him a doom and gloomer. You'd call him a forecaster of something that is on the horizon. And you'd tell him, hey, thanks, man. Save me from getting blown away. I got in the cellar just in time. So don't look at me in any other way. I'm the dirt you walk on, man. Always will be. So there's nothing lower. I'm what you stand on already. Nothing. Understand that. I have nothing here to gain. But I gotta sound the alarm a little. So the blood's not on my hands. Listen to me. They say God is not a God of gloom and doom. He's a God of hope. And it's almost a contradictory statement. Because you see, if it's not scriptural, and yet God is God of love, that's true. He is. And a God of hope and salvation, and all of it's true. Sure. But I got news for you people who think you're going to miss out on something. And you listen close to me. All the disciples that followed Christ ended up dead in one way or another, from being crucified upside down to being sawed in half, the tortures and torments the kind of things that would have happened in what we would have called the Inquisitions of the old Catholic. Remember that one? Follow that back too. You better be listening to me and paying attention. God ain't... God's not gonna quit being afraid. You can't... No, don't take no fear, because if you know the truth shall make you free, and you ain't afraid of nothing. You're gonna have to get it now, folks. I told you it's time for the meat. It's time to take off the blinders that have got you twisted and manipulated. You need to think back to your childhood. You need to think back to when you knew what was right. You can look around. Anybody can look around and see that there is something terribly wrong with our economy, with our system, with our government, with our schools, with our people. And it's not just here, but it is a global epidemic that is sweeping left and right. And people are blind because they don't want to know the truth about anything. Oh, you got your opinion and I got my opinion. Well, that's true, you know. Well, you know, I'm from over here and I don't think like you do. Do you have to really be entertained to open your mind? Really? How asleep are you? In Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 15. That's your Old Testament for all of those of you that supposedly know your word in Scripture. Zephaniah 1 and 15. I'm going to go up a verse above it. Listen close. Verse 14. Zephaniah chapter 1. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasterness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, that they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. And neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. But the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. As in the days of Noah, God took out the world with a flood. He gave us a rainbow as a symbol and said he wouldn't do it again, but guess what? Because the next time he destroys it with fire, you better open up your eyes and you better open up your mind, and it's about time to open up your hearts. You better get this. I ain't here to make a friend, and I guarantee you by this word today, I will be here as an enemy to the majority that watch this video. Guarantee it. They didn't accept him when he was here, and they won't accept his servants that are here. This is why you're having a religious down bashing upon the Christians. And this is why the Christians have been intermingled by so many different denominations and traditions and doctrines of man, that they have gotten so far from God that their houses are nothing more than whitewashed tombs full of bones, and I mean empty, dead bones. You better listen, and you better listen good. The time for games is over, folks. It is a time that we are living on the edge right now, and you're just too blind to see. No, our God's not like doom and gloom. I tell you what, we can go over there in the book of Joel. You want to read it there? In the book of Joel, chapter 2 and verse 2. Let's see if I can get you over there. Do you want to go with me? You don't have to. I mean, I figure I've probably lost half of the people that are watching at this point anyway. Now check this out. Joel, right there, right over there in front of that. Oh, come on. Where's it right at? Where's Joel, y'all? The book of Joel. Oh, there we go. Zechariah is a good one. The Zechariah prophecy. That's the big fire sacrifice, folks, and you're going to see that. You're going to see that. But, a lot of people are following the tradition and doctrine that's been passed down concerning the thing called the rapture. I told you I'm not here to make friends. I come to bring a sword to divide your household. That's what I'm here to do. But, so that I can be politically correct for a moment, and to the CIA and all the alphabet groups out there that might be watching, monitoring, or whatever, whoever, well, it's not a physical sword. So it's not a threat to you. Unless the truth is a threat, which is what we're looking at, right? But remember, the traditions and the languages, it don't matter what kind of different translation you want to get into, you can bypass the translations, just like you can the denominations. But no, you people want to have a teacher with itching ears that will tell you what you want to hear. You want to be told that, hey, you plant your little seed and you're going to get rich. That's right, because God needs all your money, and God never sees a dime of it. It goes and buys the big jets and these fancy televangelist things that they've got going on, sells a few more books with their advertising lines because they want to hook you line and sinker, and they're taking you just right on down the path. It's the blind leading the blind, because nobody wants the truth anymore. Nobody wants to stick their neck out there anymore, because you know, by sticking your neck out now as a Christian, you run a risk of getting your head chopped off by somebody. And guess what? That's the days we're living in. That ain't no fake. That ain't no false. Yeah, they might be propaganda on your TV to get people to lean a certain way. But when you go behind the scenes and you look at what is happening to your supposed brothers and sisters over there in these other countries who are having their heads lobbed or being crucified, shot down in the streets, massacred, innocents, whole total families, men, women, and children. God will fill his kingdom with children if it's a necessity. That mankind is so dumb, so frozen, and so cold-hearted that they wouldn't even consider the concept that God is real. Wow. An amazing thing. An amazing thing. People don't want to know anything about the truth. Because the truth says that you have to stop and listen to goofball nuts like me say something to you to make you do a little bit of self-examination. Because a lot of people will judge and misjudge and tell you what it is and what it ain't, all because of what they've been told themselves, not because of what they've experienced and not because they learned. Where do you sit in that? Do you talk out of what you've heard? Do you believe by what you have been taught? Have you experienced something that puts your mind in one frame or the other? Really? So many people out here will listen to you because it seems like some of us have got our thumb on it. We know what's going down. We talk about the Gog and Magog War and how it'll be reclassified as World War III. And we talk about the Jesuit Pope who has taken over when the other Pope was stepped down or asked to step down. He came down. But he didn't come out of death or destruction or anger. He was just destroyed. He was removed. What got him was the sex scandal, they say. Maybe. And so here comes this Buglio, whatever his name is. He is St. Francis to the majority of the Catholic world. And what they don't know is he come from Argentina, where Mr. Bush Jr., that's right, even the U.S. president's got some strings in there. And in Argentina, 15 to 30,000 people murdered and massacred. Go talk to some Argentina folks. Really? Find out who was running the show there. The priest that was in charge. That's right, they're calling it the Inquisition. And there's priests that are coming forward now and spilling their guts about this stuff. Yeah, because they're seeing the evil that is growing in the Vatican with this other guy. Catholics don't want to hear that garbage. That's right. Nobody wants to hear anything. Because you got it all figured out. You know what's coming next. I've been calling it for 3 or 4 years. Boom, boom, boom. And when nothing was big, I stayed away. Because you guys like to look at every little thing. Which is great if you got that kind of time. But you need to be focused on your soul and where you're going to spend eternity. Because that is the real meat. You can think what you want. You can hate me if you want. I come on and I tell you the truth of things that are happening in your world today, and you hate me. And so, I didn't even have to mention a specific belief system. And already, because truth come out, I'm hated. And today, I'm telling you. And go look up Joel 2. Let me go ahead and read that. Joel 2:2. I'll read it. I'm right here. Okay. Joel 2:2. I'll go with 2:1. Here we go. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble. For the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess. A day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountain. A great people and strong. There hath not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. And it goes on. Day of darkness and gloominess. So here's the deal. If you're criticizing me for being doom and gloom, because listen, I have no fear. I'm ready to go. Really. I am. Watch that first little video I did when I came back. It has a whole bunch of stuff in there, if you're wise enough to know and see. And that was like 2.5 years before anybody seen what was going on. Because people were so behind the times. Everybody was freaking out over Hostess. I told you I'd be back and eat a Twinkie at the beginning or the next year. And there they were, right back, just like we said. I'm not a prophet. Don't start that garbage either, because I ain't claiming nothing. I told you I'm the dirt you walk on. But I will tell you this. I'm cleaning my hands of your blood. Because I'm telling you now. There are some events about to take place very soon. There is stages set across the entire globe that the majority of mankind is not even aware that it exists. I'm not talking about alien invasions. I'm talking about the run-amok Luciferian mankind. Definite influences from the outside, maybe. You know, from the fallen, that third that followed Lucifer. He knows he has but a short time and he's coming back. That's why you got the Luciferians pushing out the Christian and going to now get rid of the Muslims in the process, take them all down. There's so many different agendas going on, and you don't know who's funding who and who's fighting who, and Germany's fighting up here with the Yemen, and you got Syria going on, and there's just, you name it, man. Since 2012, we started with Tunisia. I went through this. Russia's getting a little uncomfortable. Oh, but maybe Russia's controlled by the same one that the big Obama is. Maybe. And maybe Benjamin Netanyahu is also controlled by the same one that big Obama, and perhaps a couple of others. Maybe there's 10 kings in 10 kingdoms or 10 regions. Maybe that's already in place. Some of you know these things because you can handle all of it. You know the truth, but very few do. They know what they see, where somebody posts their idea or their theology or their thought processes on YouTube, or they've seen an advertisement on some television, or they hear something on the radio, or somebody told them such and such. Well, I've been going to church where my granddad, well, it was good enough for my granddad, but granddad's granddad, by gosh, I'll stay this way forever. I believe like that, and it don't matter. There ain't nobody wrong in my family, ever. Yeah, really? No, we're human beings. We're perfect. We're infallible. Oh, wait, no. The only infallible human being title goes to, that's right, your big black Jesuit Pope. And he's not a black guy, but he's called the Black Pope because, well, for obvious reasons, if you look into it. And you'd be surprised who's funding what through the Jesuit organizations. I'm telling you. And you don't want to hear that because it's gloom and doom. I'm going to tell you what, buddy, it's about time that you folks wake up. And it's about time that you realize the doom and gloom is getting ready to be in your face. You say, I don't have to worry about it because it's not here. I can look at it over there. Like I said, you don't want to get in it. But guess what? It does affect you, because that's your brothers and your sisters and their entire families being slaughtered and being run out of their homes just because of their belief systems. And it's not just the Christians, but the Muslims are being run out too, because now ISIS is taking over. Boy, there's a lot to do with that name. Wow. Wow. But you don't want to hear it, because you see, you don't want to self-examine. You don't want to look and see if maybe you've been wrong somewhere. Why would somebody be so passionate to come out and risk putting themselves out here just to tell you these things? I ain't asking for a dime. Never have. Won't take it. Don't want it. Thank you, though. Pray for me. You want to help me? You pray for me. That's all I want. That's all I've ever wanted. Because I serve the one who controls all things. And that's the truth too. And that causes me enemies. They hung Christ. They didn't accept Him. And there's so many nutcases out here from one end to the other, preaching every kind of religion and theology that you can imagine. I mean, you can sit around and literally tell what kind of church you want. I like to have a pistachio ice cream church, you know, where I can just be, can I get, I want syrup here, yeah. And they'll serve it to you, sure enough. Oh, they got your churches, your big coffee houses, and your little meeting rooms. Hey, there's even Super Bowl Sunday at some of the churches now. Shut down the service early so we can get into the game, and they spend all day fellowshipping one with another and doing the same thing the world's doing, because that's where their focus is. Pleasing the world, pleasing man, pleasing themselves, recreating. And who doesn't like recreation? Because recreate. Recreate. God is the creator. And now man loves the creation more than the creator. And we even doubt that he exists. What is wrong with this world? Really? How can you look at anything? He says you have no excuse. Oh, you can deny it. You know, a lot of people that were Catholic now are atheists. Go figure. Wow. I mean, growing up that way. Because there's something there that wasn't being fulfilled. But you know, as far back as you can go, people have been doing this whole Christianity thing. The problem is Catholicism is not the same as what you'd call perhaps maybe Protestant type belief systems. There's a difference. One likes to use the Bible, and the other's in the Latin Vulgate and wants to control the world. And they have a good or false artificial. They've got statues, the Bible specific. No idols, man. No statues and idol worship and that kind of... And people are going in there to this day in the Vatican and kissing the foot of the god Jupiter. They call it Christ now, but it was actually from the temple there. And it was the god Jupiter. It's true, man. And all you got to do is get a little homework. You can find out where it came from. Matter of fact, the Vatican houses many gods from ancient times, and many of the great works of the artists. As a matter of fact, I believe the Vatican is a city, and yet it is also a country. Wow. That's pretty awesome power. What do you mean? A lot you could look into, folks. But you know what? You can know all there is to know about being Hindu. And you can know all there is to know about being a Muslim. And you can know all there is to know about being Jewish. Or Christian, or did I say Hindu? I don't know. Whatever. You can know all there is to know about all of that. Every religion in the world. You can know every subject. I wish you could look around my library here. Stationary camera, and it's over there, and I'm over here. Don't that just beat off. But books that just go up and around, and they just, well, they cover a lot of subjects, you see. And they just give a person the opportunity to study some things, to look in to something deeper. to study, perhaps, to show yourself approved. But you know what? You know what? All these books, I can know everything that's in every one of them, and in every other book in the world. I can know all the knowledge that there might be to know. You, as you put yourself, you could know all that there is to know. And even then, it would be folly, foolishness in the sight of a holy and true Creator God. And yet we toy as Christians. So many have convinced themselves, or been convinced by whatever twists and itchy ears that they've gotten, telling them whatever they want to hear. The day of the Lord is a dark and gloomy day, and the day of the Lord is at hand. For things are coming soon, and you're not going to escape. You rapture believers, you rapture thinkers, you better double check yourself. Find out why you think that. Find out where it started. Go back to the beginning. Just like I said to the Muslims, go back and find where the Quran come from. See who helped orchestrate that. Hint, they're in Rome. No joke. It's history. It's all history. And yet what is coming is future. And it ain't far off. You see, certain people are in position now. And certain things have occurred. And certain things are occurring, these wars and rumors of wars. And now the Ebola, pestilence. Crazy things. Crazy things. Time to worry? Not really worry. Unless you're concerned about someone you love not making it right with God, then perhaps maybe a little more prayer, huh? Yeah. And for the answers you don't have, because none of us have got them all, maybe we should be searching for those. And before we judge our fellow man, maybe we should really know them, perhaps even by their fruits, before we judge. And judge not, lest you be judged. I fear no man. We're not to, but fear God only. It says, fear no man who can destroy the body, but fear God only who can destroy both the body and the soul. Yeah. You see, when I quote Scripture, most Christians don't even know it, because they're not studied. And then they don't want to know about doom and gloom, because all the way through the Scripture is politics, religion, and doom and gloom. There is hope at the end, but only for those who are willing to study to show themselves approved. God said, my people are destroyed from lack of knowledge, and there is no excuse. Now, you can mark me down and say, Photo Helix has finally flipped his wig and lost it. That's okay. Like I said, that's not here for friendship. But everybody that watches my videos, I pray for them. So it doesn't matter, you see, just the fact that you watched this. Because God knows who you are on that other end. And I'm telling you, folks, whether you believe this nut here or not, when these things begin to happen and begin to unfold, remember, if you can, what I said. Then perhaps, if you're alive long enough to see these things, perhaps then someone will apply water to the seed that I'm trying to share with you. It's not doom and gloom if you know the truth. It's an exciting time. And there's a lot to look forward to. A lot better than the stuff we're going on through right now. But Scripture proves man is blind. Don't want to hear this. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. Just don't want to hear it. That's okay. That's okay. Really. But for those that are hearing it, and I'm talking to you, you can go somewhere. Seek Him out. Repent. Repent. And cry out to God. Cry out to Yeshua. And get to know Him for real. If it's a true, pure heart, and you're sincere, contrite, and broken, I'm telling you, because the things you're seeing over there is going to be here before you know it, and it's not coming in the way you're probably thinking. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the world, because the things that are going to affect us are going to affect us all. Go to Higgs, I'm out.